So yeah, I don't think it would come as a surprise to anyone who knows me that I enjoy watching anime. I grew up watching anime, and starting from Volts 5 to Sailor Moon, up until now, I still watch anime. I look for that amazing storyline, amazing Japanese animation and voice acting, and there are a plethora of sports-related anime shows, and those have a special place in my heart, especially series like Tennis no Oji-sama or Haikyuu or even Kuroko no Basket. Having said that, there is one anime that I don't think would be a part of any of the great sports anime lists, and that anime is Hanebado. What's up, Dreamer Tribe? What's up, world? I'm Bianca, and this is Boofy, and we are here to discuss and give you a review on Hanebado, or, well, it has a very longer title, which is The Badminton Play of Ayano Hanasaki. So before we go into the actual review, let me just give you a little bit of a background information regarding this anime and how I came across it. Now, Hanebado, or The Badminton Play of Ayano Hanasaki, is originally, or was originally, a manga series, which is basically just saying most anime started out like that. It's based on the manga series written by Kosuke Hamada, and it was published in Kodansha magazine, or has been published since 2013. Now, this anime, the anime adaptation, it was first aired on July 2, 2018, and it ended on October 1st of the same year. So if you're gonna watch this for reasons I cannot fathom at the moment, maybe out of curiosity after watching this review, I would suggest against watching it on Netflix, even though that is where I have watched this anime series. That is because in Netflix, at least in Netflix Philippines, we only have up to episode 9, and this anime has 13 episodes in total. Now, I'm not sure if you would actually get through the entire series, or if you would, as I did, simply watch the first couple of episodes in that series and then skim right through to the end for reasons which I will explain in this video. But yeah, don't watch this on Netflix if you're using Netflix Philippines, because this anime, like most of the series there, is incomplete. And now that that is out of the way, let's get right to the review itself. So let's start this off with a positive note, or as positive a note as we can start it off, considering what I have said in the beginning of this video. So yeah, this anime actually only has two positive things going for it. The first one is the animation itself. Now, the animation of this Japanese anime is superb, especially the parts where there are actual badminton matches going on, because this is, if it isn't obvious enough, a badminton related sports anime. Now, the animation in this show is so crisp and superb and fluid that you can't help but admire what the animators have done. Granted, there are a few shots in the animation, or in the anime itself, that leaves you to question why the animators chose to show such a thing apart from catering to fan service. But during those parts where a badminton match is actually happening, or when the character is moving through the motions of playing or practicing playing badminton, those animations are amazing. There are rippling muscles. It's sort of like watching Kuroko no Basket, but with an enhanced level of animation, and it's just so pretty to watch. It's actually the only thing that had me going for a couple more episodes, and the only times where I actually would not skip through a particular part just to say that I have completely watched the entire series. But yeah, if there is one reason to watch this anime, it is for the animation in it itself, and that's basically just it. Now, the second positive thing about this anime is the soundtrack, and I don't mean the opening and ending songs, like those I could do without, but the actual soundtrack in the anime itself as the scenes play out. Those are amazing, and the sound effects as well. They capture everything that needs to be captured, and they tell a story as well. They're nice to listen to, and there is a realism to them, similar to how, you know, the animators have captured the realism in movement when it comes to playing badminton. Now, as sad as it may sound, that is basically just the only two things that make this anime show worth watching. And it's not really, you know, it's not enough, actually, at least for me, as I was watching it, to just listen to the music and to just watch the animation, because again, one of the most important aspects for me in any media is the story, and this anime lacks that so much that it hurts. So basically, the story of this anime is that it revolves around two badminton players and the cast ensemble, which is the badminton team of their school, and the various competitors that are pitted against these two main characters. Now, these two are named, first off, Aragaki Nagisa and Hanasaki Ayano, which the latter of the two is the titular character of this series. Now, the anime starts off 6 months prior to the actual story, wherein Nagisa and Ayano are fighting off against each other, competing against each other in the finals of a tournament where Ayano ends up being the winner with a score of 21-0, which speaks volumes on the level of play that Ayano has compared to Nagisa. And basically, there's nothing wrong with the beginning part of the anime, considering that a lot of sports related anime, they start off like that. They start off by showing the main character losing badly or being beaten by a rival character, which is the secondary character of the series. Now, the first anime that come to mind as I'm comparing this anime show to the other anime shows of the sports genre is, of course, Haikyuu. Now, in Haikyuu, the main character loses to the king of the court, and Shoyo, since he lost to Tobio, who is the king of the court, he develops this drive and this zeal to better himself, to not give up. Now, that is the difference between this anime, Hanebado, and Haikyuu, because in Hanebado, not only do we get a character who doesn't want to play badminton any longer, but we also get a character who bullies other people or other players in her team because she lost to a prodigy. And she basically does try hard, but her mental state and how she does things, it isn't really champion material. Where Shoyo does not begrudge Tobio for being what that series, what Haikyuu calls a prodigy, here in Hanebado, it is the complete opposite. Basically, Nagisa hates anybody who is a prodigy. She thinks of them in a light that is so negative, and that it makes you really annoyed with her whiny attitude, because she is by far the whiniest character I have ever watched in an anime show. And I have watched a lot of anime shows, which says a lot, especially not in a sports anime, where not only are you showcasing the sports or the theme, which, you know, whatever sport it is that anime is showing, but you're also trying to show people what it takes to be a champion. What are the characteristics of a champion? Well, if you're looking for that, you won't find those characteristics in this anime. Because really, you'd think Nagisa would work hard for herself, that she would put her lost as sort of the thing that fuels her to do better and to train harder and to, mentally prepare better. But no, she uses that loss in such a negative light that you wonder if she actually learned anything apart from hating Ayano and hating people who are born with a talent for playing badminton. Now, I'm not really that into sports. Like, I play sports. I play basketball. I play badminton. I play table tennis. I play sports, but I'm not into the competitive part of that. But I'm pretty sure that those with talent, they have to work hard as well. That you don't just have a talent for something and then woke up one day and think that, hey, I'm gonna compete in a tournament and I'm gonna win without doing any hard work, without training, because I'm pretty sure that you would need to have the stamina in order to turn your talent into something that is actually a skill, actually productive. And that is one of the gripes I have with Nagisa's character and with this story, because in this anime it makes you feel like what the story is telling you is that you actually don't need to practice, that you just wake up one day, you have a talent, and you can obliterate any opponent that you may have. Like, it doesn't matter if you actually need skill and not just talent, and also that you also need training. It doesn't matter, because in Ayano's mind, anyone who is a prodigy doesn't need to train, that they're just inherently good at whatever sport they are playing. And that line of thought is basically Nagisa's topic every time she whines about something, and that's just a fraction of the story. That's just the first 2 episodes of the anime that we are talking about. There are a lot of things in regards to this anime's plot and story that are so headache-inducing and so frustrating that I actually just started at the halfway point of the 2nd episode to just skim through most of the dialogue and just see what the summary is about, because I cannot stand so much whining and so much of this sort of negative and sort of dramatic focus that it drowns out anything that is actually good in the plot, if there is anything good left in it. Like, I don't want to diss into this anime so much, but it feels like the animators thought they could get away with just making beautiful animation in regards to how, the tournaments, the battles, badminton is played out in the anime, and not focus on the actual meat of the anime, which is the story and the plot, because there are so many plot elements missing in this. It's basically just one match after the other, more drama, more whining. There isn't really much growing, especially not when it comes to Nagisa, which is surprising since you'd think that she is the actual rival character to Ayano. And now, when it comes to character development, since we're already talking about that, there really isn't much. Apart from Ayano growing and then regressing a couple of episodes later, and then, it seems like they remember that they actually need to develop the characters, so they bring back whatever thing Ayano has learned and make it seem like she never really forgot about it. So apart from that, Nagisa doesn't really grow. Like, she's just there so that you can see the difference between her and Ayano, which if you're gonna put a character like that, it's just a complete waste of character and potential for that character in this story. Now, another notable, which is saying a lot, another notable character in this is the coach, who also happens to be a student of the school, an alumni of that school, who almost made it to the Olympics. The problem with that character, though, is that he only focuses on Nagisa. Like, that's whom he only helps, which would not be a bad thing if he is solely there to coach Nagisa, and that there aren't any other characters, that there's no ensemble to this anime, like if the focus is actually just Nagisa, but it's not. This is actually a school club, a school sports club, which now that is reminded to me, that I'm talking about it, I'm reminded of how at the beginning, since Nagisa is pretty much a terror to her fellow badminton team members and club members, that she bullies them so much so that all of them, most at least of the female populace of that club up and left. And I'm wondering now, since I've watched a lot of school clubs, after school anime, that most of them have this sort of dilemma going on about not having enough club members, and we have Nagisa here who basically scares most of the female players on the team, and I'm wondering how come that club is still running pretty much for the remainder of this series. Now, the thing that separates this anime from the other sports anime that we have currently available to us is that it doesn't spoon feed you any information regarding how to play badminton or the specifics of what this particular thing is called, how this works, what are the correct terms for playing or while playing badminton and stuff like that. It doesn't bog you down with that information. Granted, badminton isn't really that complex, but I have watched so many sports anime with so many expositions on how to play the sport that this is actually the first time, I think, that I've watched something that doesn't explain the sport to me. Now, I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I think it goes either way. Like, if you're interested in a sport, then you would want that sport to be explained to you in a manner that would not be boring. Now, if you already know about the sport, then maybe you would not like that to have, to be explained to you once again, because you already know that and you think that it would just be a waste of time. So yeah, that aspect of this anime, it can be a pro or a con depending on how you look at it. Now, another common thing about sports anime show is that all of the characters there, or most of them at least, they already have this superhuman ability that, a sort of attack or a defense that you won't be able to mimic in real life. The same could be said for this anime, although they do not have a specific sort of title for whatever that move is. Now, the thing about this, however, is that in other anime shows, we have other players or other characters who also have the same, a different ability to counter the protagonist's or the main character's moves. So that makes it sort of a balance, and often it also forces the protagonist or the lead character to develop something new, to enhance themselves and how they play, to think up new ways and new strategies on how to defeat their opponents. However, in the badminton play of Ayano Hanasaki or Hanebado, that isn't the case. The only one who actually has a sort of special move is Ayano, and the only thing Nagisa actually has, and she's quite proud of it, is her smash. That's it. And often Ayano has an incredible, almost invincible edge against her opponent, that the only reason she would lose is because the plot calls for it. And I'm not just saying that because the story directs her to lose, like, it's more of she feels like losing. Like, in the second episode, there's sort of a match between Nagisa and Ayano. Sort of a training match between the two. And Ayano was, of course, beating the heck out of Nagisa again. But this time, Nagisa actually has points for her hard work, and it's not just a flat out obliteration with 21-0 points. No, it's not really that close a match, but Ayano still has an edge, and the only reason why Nagisa technically wins is because Ayano remembers something traumatic, and that kept her from playing again, to the point that she almost gives up or walks away from the club. And the only reason she stayed is because her friend sort of blackmailed her or forced her into staying into the club, which is another gripe that I have with this anime. Like, I understand where Ayano is going. She doesn't want to play badminton any longer. And here we have her friend, her apparently only friend in this school, who tells her that maybe it's time to play badminton again. And she forces her to join the badminton club by joining the club itself as the club's manager. Now, if I was that friend and I know that my friend has some trauma related to badminton, I wouldn't force my friend to join a badminton club. Like, I would be respectful enough to know that she's not ready yet and maybe talk to her about, not force her to joining this club, which again is something that I didn't really like about this anime. So yeah, we went off tangent there because I forgot about that part in this story, which is, I think it was in the first episode. They showed that exchange in the first episode. So yeah, it's kind of weird going back to those special moves that we were talking about. It's kind of weird that the animation aims for something realistic, but at the same time, the anime itself provides something that is highly unrealistic and undoable in real life. Now, also going back to an earlier point I made, which is saying that one of the things I like about this anime is the matches and the animation in those matches. Sadly, those matches, they are so short and so strangely paced for the sake of whatever drama is about to go on. Like, matches are cut short for the sake of Nagisa whining, for bullying to happen, for something to add to the drama of the story, which is annoying because, again, the only reason why I stayed through the entire thing is to watch the matches, and they decided that they don't need much of that in a sports anime. Granted, there are some dramatic moments that are important, especially when it comes to Ayano finally getting over her trauma, but there are plenty of dramatic elements and dramatic story elements in this anime that really are unremarkable, and they could have been like cut from the anime and you wouldn't lose anything from it. I think you would actually gain something from it if you cut some of those and add more matches, or elongate the matches, like show the entire match or even highlights of that match, like what other anime sports shows are doing. So yeah, apart from that, I'd say that this is an anime that I would be wary about. Like, if you are looking for an anime to watch and this is the only anime left for you, then maybe you can stomach some of it. I actually applaud them for trying to make a badminton anime. I know this isn't the first, but there's actually another see, it's difficult to say the title. Another Hanebado anime out there, but I haven't watched that. So this is actually the first badminton anime that I have watched. And another merit to this anime is the strategies used during matches, although they are predictable, they are sort of realistic. Like, you can see where the matches are going. But yeah, watching this anime really drained me, and in a negative way. So I don't want to like tell you guys not to watch it, but again, I would go into this anime with a grain of salt, because it feels like a waste of time watching. I was really disappointed. I wanted this to be a good sports anime because I needed a sports anime fix. So if you guys have any suggestions on what to watch, what great anime to watch, apart from Megalobox, and I know is a great anime show, please do comment in the comment section below. But yeah, this is a tiring, frustrating anime, especially if you go in thinking that it was going to be a good one. I'm not even going to go into the details of how the character models in this, they vary in quality. Like in one episode, Ayano actually looked like she aged 30 years and not a high school student or a junior high school student, and that is just jarring. Like the animators forgot how to draw her and just turned her into an older lady. But yeah, that about wraps up this review slash mini rant about this anime Hanebado, or the badminton play of Ayano Hanasaki. So if you would like me to review other shows, other anime shows, I'm not limiting myself to that. If there's something you would want me to review, then just comment on the comment section below as well, and I will see what I can do about that. So yeah, this basically is the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and me and Boofy, we're gonna find something else to watch. Talking about Hanebado drained me and also made, I think it fueled my little tiny flame of rage about this anime show a little bit. So we're gonna watch something different, something lighthearted and fun and entertaining, which isn't really what Hanebado is. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye bye now.